In the beginning was the Word. Nothing exists but through Him. And the Word was God. And I just casually do my thing. On the cool. Super cool, chilling. But all of that consciousness thought it was cool to be the villain. And they act like they couldn't comprehend that anytime they got hurt, felt some pain, it was because God, I created the feeling. And I'm about to get nostalgic. Back in a time where there was not a hell. And Ryan Michael Wright, the one God, I was creating planets. And universes. And I was creating life by speaking verses. And on Earth, it's been a few thousand years, and motherfuckers thought that they could be verses. Ryan Michael Wright. Like you could use your evil thoughts and spew out, throw your demons out, and could pollute this. And motherfuckers, you can't touch this. I'm Captain Planet. Back when I was creating planets, and life forms, that were asexual. I knew there needed to be the opposite gender. Woman. And I thought for what you could say was millions of years. And I knew I had to get it just right. The first woman would always be the first woman. And I knew she would always be mine. Eternal. Floating in outer space. I began to create. Her personality. Her mind. Consciousness. Her body. Shape her face. Meticulous process. Of perfection. When my work was done, I blew in her the breath and brought her to life. Eternal. Floating in outer space. There was no fan base, life forms, or anyone to see. But she could see me. And with a great amount of intelligence, she spoke her first words. I told her name. Ma. She knew my name was God. And she got to know me. And I introduced her to existence. Showed her different planets, intelligent life forms, peoples. That were still asexual at the time. A lot of worlds that were not stable. we flew throughout the heavens. And from that moment forward, she was my queen. There were other queens thereafter that couldn't last. They had to be done away with. There was envy. Millions and millions and millions of years before there was a Milky Way galaxy or an Earth. Billions and billions and billions of years and more ago. I was drifting through the chaos. God, I'm the one that made sense of it all. And see, the clarification of the goings on planet Earth. It's made crystal clear as to why it was even possible. Because free will, if you don't believe in God, it ain't logical. This shit ain't gonna make no sense. See, that's chaos. All that ambivalence, you know, He's Jesus Christ. You still feel like you believe in God. You blaspheming and talking to Satan. All this old shit. It's beyond. It ain't confusion. It ain't. Evil is something that is tangible. You can see it. You motherfuckers, you know, it's kids getting abducted, people being raped, being held captive in basements, and people being brutally murdered for no reason. War crimes and genocides, and then you know the devil, the evil. You got to be one evil motherfucker to chat back and forth with the evil. And for that period of time, and while you're doing that, it's just a whole lot of evil, heinous crime going on. Shit that you don't want to happen to you. And then you know Jesus Christ's name is Ryan, Michael, the same one in Revelation. That's a whole lot of chaotic thinking. And you motherfuckers rationalize with a whole lot of excuses. And you pretend like the evil is responsible for anything you could think about or laugh or amuse you or make you feel like you was having fun. When you know God created everything and Ryan Michael Wright is the one. And the Word was God. And how can you have fun without the cool? Factor, coolness. In existence. You can't have fun if it's not cool. See, all you motherfucking soul sellers and you blasphemers and you evil motherfuckers, you just a whole lot of fools. And the Bible told you all about the foolishness. Eons later, God in Ma were together. In God, I was creating angels. There was a time where angels didn't have wings, and God, I decided it was majestic and beautiful to have wings. Before that, we just flew without wings, you know. And so God was the first to have wings, the Archangel Michael. Ryan Michael Wright. In God, I got better at creating life over eons. Sustainable worlds. Intelligent life forms, peoples, races of peoples on different worlds that were capable of building civilizations and societies that didn't destroy themselves. And I got better and better at creating fun, entertainment. The cool. There were people on worlds that committed atrocities with their free will. And they misused words and abused the divinity of creation. And then God, I created hell, Hades. And there was balance in existence. That's why in Revelation, I write, Michael rode with a pair of balances, a horse. And at the end of Revelation, those whose names were not found in the book of life were cast into the lake of fire. Millions of years later, there were angels that were good, angel women that were not envious, that also became queens of God. And God, I created them. I perfected their consciousness, personality. Their body and faces. Meticulously to perfection. And over time, there were more queens of God living in perfection, eternal. I'll speak on Nike. In much the same way as I created my imperfection, but of course, millions and millions of years later, I wrote with divine thoughts the perfection of Nike. And with my hands, I shaped her. And I kept beautifying her until she was perfection. And I put the finishing touches. Fness touches of beauty. And I thought, you know what? A little bit more on the abs. And then I blew. Between her lips, the breath of life. And she could see. I asked her what she could see. And she knew who I was. And she began having an intelligent conversation with me. And she knew that I created her. And I created her to be a warrior. Much like all of the angels. But she would have a love for victory in battle. And she asked me, when can we have sex? And of course I smiled and I said, we will, very soon. Let's first get you completed on your learning materials. The cool of God is beyond evil's comprehension. And all that the consciousness that act like they can't comprehend existence and want to be evil in the same like of a whole lot of other evil that's going on all around them, and they know the difference between what is evil and what's not at the same time. See, that disgusts God because I'm the cool, and that shit ain't cool. So I got that Gehenna where I put you down there at, and the shit, depending on who you are down in Hades, if you sentenced to Hades and you in that motherfucker being excruciatingly tortured, it ain't nothing cool for you. It's hot as a motherfucker. But if you my monsters and you down there, you know, it don't be feeling hot. And it be a whole lot of cool shit going on. And they down there, they having fun. They got their societies and traditions and, you know. God come down there and we have a show and be some entertainment, be amusing and everything about it be the cool. See, God, I created everything festive. But evil ass motherfuckers that want to go against God and think they, you know, hating and envious, that's why I write in that festival. Because you motherfuckers gonna think that everything that's fun is evil. And that be your rationality of your whole reality. God, I created earth, I created the heavens, and it's right there in Genesis about the earth, stars in the firmament, all the heavens. God, what your nationality is ain't gonna make no difference in whether it's about that consciousness. Ain't no in between, either you evil or you good. You believe in God. You have a consciousness of righteousness, or you just dead wrong. Zeus, YHWH, Thoth, Ryan Michael Wright, the one God. I've been doing billions and billions. Always existing. Word years, it's not necessary. And that's why the Bible, it says always existing. So to really grasp and comprehend the words forever, eternal, everlasting life, eternity, always existing. To really, really understand takes righteousness to be able to comprehend. The evil can't grapple with that. The evil, it'll wrestle with those ideas. And it's not going to completely understand existence. See, that's chaos. Of course, evil, the truth and existence of a soul, eternity. Heaven and hell. They only pretend to really comprehend truly those words and ideas. To use them in conversation is one thing. But to live it, how you living is written all over. And when it comes to living forever, you don't get it. And Ryan Michael Wright, the one God, I'm always existing forever. And none of that chaos, it didn't make no sense. The light shines in the darkness. And the darkness can never extinguish it. And that hell is hot than a motherfucker. You in that motherfucker, burning. Ain't no fire department down there that's gonna help you extinguish shit. One Queens. Jesus Christos, Jesus Christ, Ryan Michael Wright, the one God, always existing. To create Earth, movies, the books, always existing. I didn't have to do it overnight. After Earth is gone and millions, eons and eons, years later, God and my queens any blasphemy that went on, I've been torturing the shit out of all that shit. And while I'm down there doing it, I'm super cool. The good, having a good time. And my queens in heaven having a good time. And I leave Hades. Go back to the highest heaven. In the cool, Ryan Michael Wright, I'm having a good time. It's millions and millions of years later, hundreds of millions years later. And Earth and everything on it, that was hundreds of millions of years ago. Each one of my queens, 111. I created each one, perfected, in heaven. Not like no human. I'm talking about with spiritual matter. And I blew in them the divine eternal breath between their lips. So each and every single one of my queens are divine, living eternal. A few decades on earth is some experiences. awe and wonder. Young and fresh. Dynamics. The people on earth that was evil couldn't grapple, wrestle, and really grasp, comprehend eternity, God, Jesus Christ, Creator, the one God of all of existence. You're not going to bypass Hades. Like God's people. And evil felt like they knew everything. They felt like Jesus Christ didn't know nothing. For a few decades. You motherfuckers didn't even know that while you knew I was on Earth and was in Texas and my queens are here, you ain't even know it. See, ain't nobody in this world ever been running no show. Wasn't no motherfucking Truman Show that you motherfuckers could come up with your own reality of what you. There was never no Ryan Michael Wright has to live up to some kind of false belief that you motherfuckers came up with. That's just a whole bunch of bullshit. And a reset. Like what video game or console do you think the shit is where it was just gonna be a button press? You motherfuckers like that whole concept of simulation. But in the Matrix, the one, Jesus Christ, he won in the movie. The one. See, the one can't lose. I'm the one. The Bible is right there, Revelation. All through the Bible, I say the one. I created earth, I created humans, I created everything that exists. Nothing exists but through him. So all that evil ass shit, you want to rationale lies. There wasn't enough ale for all of that. Or drunkenness for all of that. the movies, the music, sports, entertainment. My queens. My queens that are famous in that way on earth. Latondra, Cynthia, Millette, I created them in heaven. Keisha, Higgs, the disgrace of evil humans all over the world, when every word in the dictionary was what I created. Every thought you could think with free will was with a word that Ryan Michael Wright created. It's written all over the movies and books, sports, people's names in sports, in movies, music, stage names, everything that you could possibly think of. The Matrix is all around you. Coincidences are just God's way of being anonymous. And so, earning everlasting life that's what you come to understand when you read the Bible. Just like there were angels in heaven that you could say they didn't make the cut. Envy, evil, chaotic thinking. Creates an imbalance in existence. And people walk around and they think, something's wrong with somebody on earth because they got the science to tell them a personality disorder. They think it's a chemical imbalance. When ain't shit wrong with them, they just evil. Ryan Michael Wright, I said, let there be light. Ain't gonna be no imbalance. That's what I got hell for. That's what I have Hades for. My women that are famous. Scarlett Johansson, Jennifer Lopez, Jessica Simpson, Angelina Jolie, I created my queens in much the same way that I created my act. The first one. I created them, I perfected them. Personality, their beauty, meticulously. And between their lips, I blew the breath of life, eternal. Jennifer Lawrence, same way. Cardi B, Doja Cat, have an awesome power at hiding memory. And then revealing it. That's why the Matrix 4 is written like that. My queens were with me, flying from the highest heaven to Atlantis, back and forth. thousands and thousands of years before 4000 BC. Reese Witherspoon. Free will. God's people, they earned life after Earth. And the evil motherfuckers all over Earth, they had cruel intentions for Ryan Michael Wright. And evil people always had cruel intentions for what was right. See, there wasn't no middle ground to be played at. Either you was gonna be right, or you was gonna be going to hell. Where all that other evil that was obtuse to what was right, where all of that is at, going to. Some high levels of hell, got some high levels of torture going on. And you carbon copy motherfucking humans, you're gonna be on a higher level than your original self is right now. You hit that motherfucking hell, your original self, the level that they on from what you was doing, they're gonna go back down to the level they was at when you sold your soul. And you gonna go to the level they on now. Your original self waiting on your ass to hit that motherfucking hell. So you can go face to face with them. They can cuss you out, talk shit to you, and hope you get brutally tortured, worse than they was. And then talk shit to you about how they about to go to a lower level of hell, and how you ain't even no real them. Ryan Michael Wright, the Omni King, King of all of existence, King of existence. motherfuckers fucked up royally. Jesus Christos, the one God. Ryan Michael Wright.